and welcome to UC Today. My name is Kieran Devlin, and today's session is the big UC update for Crestron. I am delighted to be joined by Brad Hintze, VP of Global Marketing at Crestron. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Kieran, so good to see you.
Let's get stuck in, and let's get stuck in with a bit about yourself, Brad, before we move on to Crestron as a business. Could you please share a little bit about your professional background?
Yeah, so my professional background actually started in a few startups. Really focused on software and technology. One of the first ones early on in my career, very young in terms of flexing and developing marketing skills, was a software startup for software development to build really rich applications inside of a web browser, right? And that was very early Web 2.0. It was when Google Maps came on the scene and you can click and drag inside of a browser. And it was an exciting time from that perspective. Really introduced me to the concept of integrating technologies together. How do you enable B2B? How do you open up people's ideas to, like, you're not stuck with just what one thing can do. What happens when you mash things up? And so that actually took me to another software startup where we were creating little mashups inside of a web browser, right? And it was a really fun and exciting time. And that led me then to this professional integrator channel, the Pro AV, UC IT, starting by way of smart home and then coming here to Crestron, and focusing more on the commercial technology. So huge focus and a lot of experience in that marketing, go to market in the technology spaces.
Terrific. And let's discuss that Crestron job. What would you say are aspects of your role that you are most particularly passionate about?
I love product launches and messaging and positioning new products. How do you focus, or how do you clearly convey what it is a product can do for a customer, focusing on those outcomes, right? And focusing on the way, we talk about it internally, like any product that we develop should become, in a way, a superpower for the person buying it, right? And so how do you help them envision what that superpower would do? So I love that messaging and positioning. The other thing I really, truly love is training and getting out there hands-on and in front of our channel partners and our end customers. Next week, I'm traveling, going to be meeting with a whole bunch of different channel partners. This morning, I was working on some presentations for some end customer events that we have in the middle of the month. And so those are the things that messaging and positioning and then getting in front of customers, that's what really excites me about my job.
And I guess you touched on largely there, but I was going to ask if you could walk us through what a typical day looks for you. But I imagine there might be more of a typical week or even month.
Yeah, that's right. So typically, certainly we have executive meetings to discuss what's going on across the company, trends we're seeing, successes, areas that we need to solve that. I spend a lot of time with the individual team members planning future campaigns, individual project details, what we need to get ready. Spend a lot of time with sales and sales leadership, understanding their strategies and where they're seeing successes, where we can help accelerate that. And then, of course, with the product team, those that are actually building the products that we get to talk about, and going on that journey with them as they're building the product. So over the course of a week, I'm really engaged in a lot of that from an internal perspective. And then, of course, sprinkle within that a lot of external stuff too, customers, press, stuff like this as well.
Terrific. And let's move on to Crestron itself. Give us your best elevator pitch, Brad. How would you describe Crestron in a nutshell?
So this is one that has been challenging, only because we can do so much, right? And we spend a lot of time internally talking about the best way to position Crestron. And ultimately, where we have landed is that Crestron has developed leading technologies to enable content, collaboration, and control. And that's really driven by every organization needs the ability to share information. They need to enable to connect people, whether they're in person or they're remote, and they need to enable any space to be super easy to use so that anybody can walk in and take advantage of that technology. That's precisely what Crestron does. And we do that by building these content distribution, collaboration, and control technologies.
Terrific. Well, I think that was expertly concise, well, informative. So I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Great. Good. That's good to hear.
Let's expand the horizons a little bit. Can you just give us a bit more detail about Crestron's history, its geographical presence, its overall size?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Crestron has been around for over 50 years now. Started in New Jersey in the U.S., and then has quickly grown. Originally it was all kinds of great engineering products to help people accomplish interesting things. And I've heard stories of all kinds of wacky different products that were done in the early days. But then quickly the company found an opportunity to control and make it simple to use product technology within a space, whether that is a remote control for a slide projector was one thing that I had heard was done previously, to all kinds of technologies. There was a big period of time where centralizing things like VCRs for a university or a college, which they had limited access to a VCR, but it was such an incredible educational tool. And so Crestron focused on how do we make it so that they can centralize these few assets, but make them available to all of the classrooms. And over the course of that, starting first in the control area, in the control plane, to then move to, well, great, what if we were to make a better content distribution thing, right? What if we were to make a better video conferencing, right? So moving from control into specific solutions and applications, that's when Crestron started to invest in more of those things, like digital media enabled better content distribution via HDMI switchers and all kinds of technology there. Also point to point. So within a room, how do you take HDMI from the front of a lectern and then connect it to a display clear up in the ceiling, right? Those kinds of solutions. And then as technology got more and more embedded within, businesses, and we had a touchscreen, why not, put a touchscreen outside the conference room so people could schedule and reserve a meeting space, right? Those kinds of applications. And then today, now where we have video conferencing, the need for intelligent video. So Crestron has continually invested in engineering and technology across these core domains over the last 50 years. And in doing that, we've expanded the organization. We certainly have a strong presence still within New Jersey, but we also have centers of excellence in areas like Dallas, Texas, in the US, in Belgium. We have offices in Australia and Singapore. So we do have really strong global presence with a few core areas where we have sales, marketing, but also engineering resources. We have engineering resources in Belgium. We have some in Portland, Oregon, right? So we're really a global company with representation, with local representation in so many geographies.
Terrific. And now it's time for one of my favorite questions. Brad, what would you say is unique about Crestron's culture?
So one of the things that attracted me to Crestron and helped me feel like, oh, I've got a home, is just this insane passion for what we do. It's very cool. And I think that, we're very fortunate what we do. It's easy to relate to, when you can live with the technology that you sell, you have a closer connection to it. And you can see that certainly in the people that I work with. They wake up and they think about our company. They think about what they do every day, right? It's not like we're just selling some boring enterprise software. We're really building technology that enables people to do what they want, to do interesting and unique things. And that gets people motivated. And that pervades the culture here at Crestron. So many people really believe that kind of passion and energy. And you find it across all of the departments, whether they're in manufacturing or finance, it just is very, very infectious. I think that started first with the founder of Crestron, George Feldstein. Super energetic, super gregarious, wicked smart, right? And super passionate. He really put everything he had into building this company. And that is what, that's where this intense, passionate culture really started.
And you mentioned earlier about how you really enjoy the go-to-market aspects of your role and interaction with partners. Let's dive into that a bit more. How does Crestron approach the market? And can you please give us a bit more detail on the partner ecosystem and your go-to-market strategies?
So we have expanded the way that we approach the market over the last several years. We certainly engage with end customers to help them understand the solutions that we provide, but we never sell directly to them, right? We always sell through an integrator channel. We have a wide variety of integrators that will sell our product. There are some that are just very, very AV centric. We have some that are IT and AV centric, focused on that. So we have a super close relationship with many key end customers, but we have really tight relationships with our channel partners that we sell through. And so we focus our go-to-market efforts really around enabling core content, collaboration, and control solutions through these integration partners. So we put a lot of investment into channel enablement, training, content, and tools for our channel partners, but also for those pros within our end customers that need to sell what could be done to their partners. So that's why we do a lot of training and a lot of material and content there. And then I think another thing that's really unique about our go-to-market strategy is we invest heavily in field resources, whether they're sales field resources, technical resources, so we can go on site with an end customer, go on site with an integration partner to help make sure that they're successful. We call this our true blue mentality, or our true blue commitment. And that's just one of those expressions. But, we have many ways that we make sure that we show up and ensure that our customers are successful.
Fantastic, and I appreciate a lot of your interactions with the channel. But who would you say is the typical customer profile of the customers of your channel partners? Who typically buys your products and services, and who's that tech buyer persona?
Yep. So a lot of our end customers that are buying through our integration channel are certainly enterprise customers. A lot of I believe it's a significant portion of the Fortune 100 and the Fortune 250 will end up buying Crestron products for the durability and the ease of use and the ability to scale across all of their meeting rooms. A lot of education partners, so major universities and colleges that really prioritize that student experience and the faculty experience. And then we have a tremendous amount of customers that are within the government sector, just because of the security profile of our products. And again, the scale and reliability that they need in their applications. You can see some of those really cool examples on our website. And then we also, this is not necessarily relevant to your audience specifically, but we also have a lot of end customers that put it in their homes. So a lot of luxury high-end homes will end up with Crestron products in there as well.
Terrific. And I guess we've talked about all the strategies and the processes and the people. Let's talk about the product. We've had enough discussions ourselves, Brad, and these meetings about the amazing portfolio you guys had. This is the opportunity to sort of condense it into one question, if that's possible. What are your key products and technologies, and what features make them particularly relevant in today's business environment?
So some of the really core products that are really in hot demand right now are, one is AirMedia, which is a wireless presentation and conferencing solution. Makes it super simple. Wireless adapter, USB-C, you plug it right into a laptop, into a mobile phone, and you can share content onto a screen It's unique because it's recognized as a screen, so you don't need to load any software. You don't need to be connected to the Wi-Fi. So it's a very secure, simple to use solution. The other one that is really interesting right now and leading the market is our Automate VX and One Beyond multi-camera system. It's an intelligent video system that makes conversation within a meeting room very simple, easy to use. It's such an engaging way to have a remote meeting, and it really is industry leading. We're using visual AI to make sure people are framed well, to frame a dialogue back and forth between people. And we're going to continue to leverage visual AI too to make it even easier to deploy. So that one is a really exciting and interesting solution also. And then lastly is our control platform, right? It's an open ecosystem, easy to integrate with the leading technologies and to build a user interface that is really, really dead simple for anyone to walk in and use. And it's a great solution. We have released new UI design software, drag and drop to make a really beautiful HTML powered user interface that easily scales from many different in many different devices, and to bring in style sheets for that the customers have developed for their own. So you get this very nicely branded, great kind of an experience. So we have many, many more products, but those are some really core products that, I forgot one. Our AV over IP platform, NVX, we've shipped over 1 million units, more than any other manufacturer in our space. And people love the scalability, the security, the reliability of that solution. And with the explosion of screens that are happening out in the market, the ability to easily get content onto them is what customers need. And NVX has proven that it's great at doing that.
Fantastic. And one area we haven't quite covered yet as part of the go-to-market strategy is both the implementation part of it and then also the post-implementation, how you guys ensure ongoing support and customer success after the tech is where it should be. Mm-hmm. But can you give us a bit of detail on both?
Yeah, so on the implementation side, this is where a relationship with our integration partners becomes so valuable. We have so many partners that have invested a lot in building great teams, getting trained, building the right systems and processes to get a product deployed. So that's where that first that implementation step becomes really critical, to have those kinds of relationships. And then after that implementation, again, the ongoing relationship with that integration partner is really critical. We have introduced a service that we call Flex Care, which is a complement to the services that are provided by an integration partner, where an end customer can call us for frontline support on any of their UC and FlexCare products as well. And this is where, we just become yet another resource supporting our integration partners, supporting those end customers, making sure the system is up and running all the time.
Terrific. And this, again, was one of my favorite questions. What topics are currently dominating your conversations with customers and partners? What are they most interested in or curious about? And what challenges are they currently experiencing?
Well, AI certainly is a big topic of discussion because so many customers are trying to make sense of it. They're dabbling in it. They're playing with it, which is all great. We should all be investing in that. And so a lot of them are really, as they turn to a manufacturer like us, and they're looking at, hey, we approach your technology as infrastructure. So with it being infrastructure, how should we think about our future investments in AI? And so we have a great conversation about that. We believe we have a really good position with our open ecosystem, open APIs, and the way that we're embracing and embedding AI services like from Microsoft Teams, Copilot, and Zoom. We believe that that's a really great solution. We have a lot of customers that are really trying to make sense too of their refresh cycle. How do we plan around that, right? We're 5 years post the beginning of the pandemic, and people are still sorting out what does the future of work really look like. Clearly, hybrid is the thing forever, right? We know that will always be true. Even if you brought all of your employees back in the office, you still need to call partners. You still need to call customers. So how do you ensure that you are meeting those expectations? And so a lot of customers are coming back to us and saying, hey, how should I plan for a refresh cycle? Do I do a whole room entirely? Can I leave certain peripherals and upgrade this component? So that's a big a big topic. But that is stimulated by a lot of internal customers that, at least that I'm hearing from customers, about the culture of collaboration. How do you enable this culture of collaboration? And I think it's a really interesting and unique moment that our industry is in, where we used to make promises about collaboration. And we used to need to sell people on the idea of enabling remote collaboration. But now those business leaders and those end users, they have opinions on how they want to collaborate, which is, I think it's a great moment to be in. And now we're at the table with them and we're saying, great, that's what you want to achieve. This is how we can help you. And it's great to be in that kind of a partnership seat and to have a role in shaping the culture of the business, right? And it really stems from that collaboration key part of it. So I'm hearing a lot of that in the discussions that we're having with integration partners and within customers too. And I think that's exciting, right? I think that's a very, very good place to be.
And I think that's quite an elegant segue into my penultimate question, which is how does Crestron approach innovation? Can you explain your process for gathering feedback and generating new ideas?
Yeah. So the gathering feedback in this partnership, a core value of the way we develop products is something that we call informed by partnership. And it's a partnership with end customers. It's a partnership with our integration partners. And that market intel and information is so critical. And look, our product team, our engineering team, they're always out on the road and they're always out there speaking with people. So that partnership with those that use our product and rely on our product is so critical and invaluable. And it's a really big part of it. But what we focus on is doing it in an iterative fashion, right? It was probably 15 years ago that we co-developed a scheduling panel with Microsoft. They came to us and said, hey, we need to put a panel outside of our conference rooms so people can book a room, right? And so we took our touchscreen and put it on the wall, and now it's a thriving product line for us. And it's a really great example. But just yesterday, what we were sitting with customers, we pitched an idea, they gave us feedback, right? And so it is really just this back and forth that is so critical, and it stems from having a tight relationship and then feeding that back into our product roadmaps.
Fantastic. And one final question before I let you go, Brad. Looking through your guys' specific lens, what do you see as the biggest opportunity in our industry right now? I'm going to add a caveat to that one. That isn't AI, because it'd be quite. I feel like that is the answer, because it is the answer. But yeah, what do you, apart from AI, what do you see as the most shrewd opportunity you guys are spotting?
Well, I think that we have seen a convergence of technology taking place within our industry, driven by customer needs. That is really bringing together, like I said, content, collaboration, and control. Every space needs to enable people to share information, to connect with other people, and to make it super simple to use. And so we have accomplished that historically by bringing many disparate technologies and integrating that together to create that experience. But how can we continue to leverage that experience, that knowledge, the know-how of bringing those together and deploy it at scale across many different rooms? I think that's the biggest opportunity. We've been able to solve that in an ad hoc way. But how do we go from 5 conference rooms that need that to 100 to 1,000, right? And so we think that's a huge opportunity. We need to start having those kinds of conversations. We're building new products to take advantage of those opportunities, but products and solutions for that exist today. And so I think it's an opportunity for our organization or our industry to get out there, talk to customers, make sure and understand what it is that they need, and show them what we can do to shape the culture of organizations and make them more effective. And so I think that will continue to be a super solid opportunity. But don't miss the opportunity to bring all three of those things together: content, collaboration, and control.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a very roundabout way to finish today's conversation. And I think it's quite interesting, as you say, just what if you could scale up the smart office to the not only the smart building, but to the smart global, the global ecosystem of buildings. Is quite, it would be a remarkable achievement. But as you say, it doesn't feel like we're that far away at all.
No, we're not. No, that's right.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Brad. It's been a really enjoyable session. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kieran.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share on social media, and we'll see you next time. I've been Kieran Devlin, UC Today. Thanks for watching.